Now it's time for 3x3 Experiment by JCD. Comparing stories from ABC, CBS, and NBC. The never-ending 3x3.
Happy Valentine's Day, just a touch early. This weekend, the Paramount Miami World Center is lighting up the skyline with LED cupids and hearts. The digital display on the 60-story tower is thought to be the world's tallest Valentine. From a big display to big spending, Americans are expected to shell out an estimated $24 billion this year on Valentine's Day gifts. That's up $2 billion from last year and the second highest total since the National Retail Federation began keeping score. Now, I love some flowers and chocolate, but that is just me.
Tonight, police have contacted British Prime Minister Boris Johnson along with dozens of others as part of the investigation into parties held at Downing Street during COVID lockdowns. Authorities have sent Johnson a questionnaire related to so-called Partygate. If Johnson is found to have broken his own government's COVID rules, he could be fined and will likely face additional pressure to step down.
For many, it's felt like a winter with lots of record-breaking low temperatures, but today, much of the Northeast approached new highs. It was beautiful here in New York today, and here's what it looked like in Boston. People out enjoying the sunshine. It was unseasonably warm there, and also in Providence and on New York's Long Island, all with temperatures in the high 50s and low 60s. A much different story tomorrow as temperatures plunge back into the 20s and 30s.
To the Index tonight, new details in the case of an 80-year-old grandmother in Illinois who authorities say may have been saved in part because of the popular game Wordle. The family speaking to GMA this morning detailing how the word game may have helped rescue Denise Holt from a hostage situation when her daughter didn't get her daily score.
I generally send Jenny my Wordle in the morning, and sometime later or so, Jennifer might catch up with me on the phone.
And when you expect something in the morning, like a Wordle score, and you don't get it, and then you keep calling and they're not responding, and you're so far away, you get nervous.
So Denise's daughter's got in touch with a neighbor who called police to do a wellness check. Authorities say a man was holding her mother hostage, allegedly threatening her with a sharp object. Police moving in to free Denise and arresting the alleged intruder hours later. Incredible.
We end tonight with a new mission for former cadets of a school like no other in the United States. CBS's Deborah Alfarone has the story.
In a remote rural town in Virginia lies what was the first and only black military academy in America.
I feel so fortunate to be able to have attended this school and have graduated from here.
Robert Walker, class of 65, and Eugene Butler, class of 68, say they learned lessons for life.
Discipline, a structured lifestyle, humility, trust, commitment.
St. Emma shaped thousands of young African-American men just after Reconstruction through the Civil Rights era, but most people haven't heard of it.
Why do you think people don't know so much about this place?
People didn't want this school in this community. A lot of prejudice and racism was going on.
The land St. Emma sits on, known as Belmead, has a dark past. St. Emma's buildings and that of the corresponding all-girls school, St. Francis de Sales, were built by enslaved people. And unknown to Walker and Butler until after they graduated, 130 of those people were buried right here.
We're standing on the shoulders of those people.
St. Emma shut its doors 50 years ago, and shortly after, many of the dozens of buildings were bulldozed.
It's been hard for us to come here to see that was nothing left.
The two friends have been on a long mission to keep the story of St. Emma and St. Francis alive through tours and contributing artifacts to be reviewed for admission into the African American History Museum in the nation's capital. Embodying the lessons learned on this land.
This was an area of enslavement that turned to empowerment.
To tell the story to generations to come. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Powhatan, Virginia.
And generations will be better off knowing that beautiful story.
Next tonight, the daily protests over the fatal police shooting of 22-year-old Amir Locke have been mostly peaceful but turned destructive overnight. Dozens of protesters gathered near the 5th Minneapolis Police Precinct. Some blocked traffic, knocked trash cans into the street, shattered a bus stop, and left graffiti. Locke was killed earlier this month by police serving a no-knock warrant.
You're trying to make a statement, and it just looks dumb.